Hey y'all, thanks for tuning back into Chickanic. I hope everybody's having a great week. Where have I been? It has been 2 weeks since I made a video, and that has been the longest time I've gone without making a video in, I think, years. I've had a crazy week, and I can't wait to tell you all about it. But first, I've got some Depstech Endoscopes to give away to 3 lucky winners from my 500,000 subscriber giveaway. So hang around and see if you might have won. Alright guys, so as always, anytime I give something away, the scammers come out in full force. They will reply to your comments and act like they're me using my profile picture when they might say Chickanic at WhatsApp or Telegram. I am not on WhatsApp or Telegram. If you get a comment from me saying that you won, the 3 lucky winners have already got the comment on their replies. Make sure to click the Chickanic username right above and make sure it goes to my channel. All the scammers, when you click on theirs, it goes to a page that has no content on it, so you'll know if it's me or not. All right, so let's get to it. The winner of the Depstech DS260 is Jerry Dunmeyer, 8653. He says, I've learned a lot from you, not the least of which is how to start my chainsaw easier, as I am 75 years of age and don't have some of the strength that I had 20 years ago. I cut timber with my neighbor and split it to supplement my heat and wood stove. We'll also use one of those cameras to look at my old John Deere tractors that I work on for fun. Enjoy the channel. Keep on keeping on. Thank you so much for your support, Jerry. I'll be sending you your brand new Depstech. Winner number 2 is Randy Travis H1Z. He says, I learned something new from your channel every time I watch. Got my camshaft replaced in my Troy-Bilt riding mower with no problem. Keep at it. All right, Randy, thank you so much for your support. I will be sending you the Depstech 650. Just send me an email with your shipping details. And for winner number 3, we have Mickey Kamer. I started watching you way back with almost no followers. I actually bought the Speedhead because of your recommendation, and it has been the best head I have ever used. Aw, thank you, Mickey. I'm so glad that I could help. You are the winner of the DS580. Send me an email with your shipping and I will send it to you. So guys, I cannot thank you enough. 500,000 is insane to me, and I wouldn't be here without each and every single one of you. All right, now let's play some catch up. The week before last, I got to go to the Equip Expo in Louisville, Kentucky. Now that is a 9-hour trip from Hot Springs, Arkansas, all the way up there. Yes, I did have to take a baby Briggs with me. He did really well in the car, even though he kept trying to get over to Ron. It was the first time that you could tell he got mad at me and bit me because I wouldn't let him get on Ron while he was driving. But we made it there just fine. I snuck him into the hotel room, because a baby's got to eat every 3 to 4 hours. Got to spend all day Thursday at the Equip Expo, and I had 2 missions in mind. My first one is to meet every one of you that I could find. And the second was to meet all the heads of service for all the major brands that I work with. Now, the first thing I did when I got there, I went over to the Ethanol Shield booth, and I got to meet a lot of y'all there. I got to meet Brian and Greg in person. Super cool dudes. They are the creator, inventors, and marketers of Ethanol Shield. The company's called B3C. I am not sponsored by them. I just fell in love with their product like 12 years ago. I use it in all my equipment. I use it in everything that I work on. That way I know I don't have to fix it again if a customer leaves their equipment for a long time. They saw that I had been talking about them in my videos, invited me to hang out, and I was super appreciative for that. They also went over a bunch of their new products, things that I had no idea that they made. Also explained to me about Mechanic on the Bottle, and I'm going to give it another shot because I have said in the past that I wasn't really sure if it worked well or not, and I might have been using it wrong. Because every time I said something about it, I'd had tons of commenters say I use it every year and it works great, and I just really didn't know why. So after speaking with them, I think I got it figured out. I'll let you know more about that one later. But after that, I was on a search for the heads of service. I got to go over to the Echo booth and meet Fernando in person. He's head of corporate development, the one that made the SpeedFeed 500 heads that we've talked so much about. He was super nice. He had already actually called me 2 days before the expo to want to explain to me about the new design and how it was going to work and how I could, be self-assured that it is definitely going to work out for their customers. And, still a little hesitant, but after talking to him and him giving me 2 of the brand new Speed Feed 500s and realizing that what it's made out of now, we're going to do a whole video on this because I'm very happy with what they did. He was super cool. I got to meet the head of service for Steel. I got to meet the head of service for Tough Torque, the guys from Zama, the guys from Fluid Film. Even though I didn't get a lot of video talking to all these people or pictures or anything like that, my main mission was making connections because I share a lot of information. And to be honest, I see it from my end. I don't know what they're thinking on their end, and it would be nice to know. So that was what I was on a mission to do. Be able to make those connections so if I had any issues, I can call them, which I have all their phone numbers now, and get their side of the story. One thing I was not happy about there was no outdoor Husqvarna display like I got to do last year with Rick and Jack, who I was really disappointed I couldn't see this year. And I sort of didn't understand why Steel has a massive display and Echo's got a massive display and Husqvarna was a no-show. I did check out their new stuff inside. They have supposedly the biggest, baddest blower on the market now. Tried it on. It is not as heavy as it looks. Supposedly it blows more cubic feet per minute than the Steel BR 800 or the Echo PB 9010. But other than the tubes being the size of sewer pipes, I don't know much more about it yet. Probably won't until it breaks and someone brings one in. Now, why has my life been on hold for the last week with no videos and extreme drama and stress? Let me tell you about it. Now, if you've been watching my videos for a while, you know about Echo. She showed up at the house about 2 years ago and y'all named her, and she has been my sidekick ever since. Now, the only thing about Echo though is she's a hunting dog and she likes to run after everything she sees. She also is one hell of a jumper. So Ron and I had built this fence and it worked perfectly fine for our bulldogs that can't really jump over anything. But after she got here, you've seen it in my videos for years, I had to put an extra layer of fence just to keep her in. Oh, but that wasn't going to stop her. She figured out that she could jump over the back fence. So what did we do? We put an extra layer of fence up. This thing is about 5.5 feet tall. And that pretty much kept her in until I've shored it up now, but she dug a hole under the fence where she found a weak spot. And Beefcake, who hasn't left the house in 9.5 years, followed her. 6 hours later, some little girl came home without Beefcake, didn't she? Didn't she? Yes. And she felt extremely bad for it. You could tell she cowered in the corner. We weren't yelling at her. She knew that she lost Beefcake. So of course the first thing I do is post them online on Arkansas Lost and Found Pets, on all of the local Facebook pages, and people, man, they really showed up. They shared his reward poster over 1,200 times. I sort of had the assumption that everybody in the area had to know he was missing because they had to have seen this post. But you know what I found? Not everybody has social media. So for 6 days, life stood still. We didn't worry about the shop. We didn't worry about YouTube. We didn't worry about the house. We didn't worry about anything. My mission every day was to drive around at least a 3-mile radius from my house because I knew that he couldn't go too far. I mean, the dog doesn't even like to walk in tall grass, let alone go through the woods. So I just drove, talked to neighbors. My friends showed up without even asking them. Thank you so much. You have no idea how much it means whenever I really hate asking for favors. And we scoured the area and we never saw him. Now, I went around to local businesses and put flyers up and talked to a ton of the neighbors around, but you just can't knock on everybody's door, especially here in Arkansas, because you might get shot. And by Thursday, I was getting worried. I knew there was coyotes in the area. He's definitely not a fighter. And I really thought that somebody had him. So Friday morning, I was like, screw it. I know that I can get a fine for putting a sign on a stop sign, but I really didn't care at this point. So on Friday, I went around the entire area and put his reward posters on all the stop signs. And then a miracle happened. Saturday night, a little after 10 o'clock, Ron gets a phone call. And the guy says he thinks he has our dog. He said he had been passing by him almost every single evening because he worked late on the same road, 2,500 feet behind my house. And he just thought he was a neighbor's dog. He never got on social media, so he hadn't seen the post. Until he was leaving his neighborhood and saw the reward sign on the stop sign. So he turned around, went back, followed Beefcake, who was constantly running away from him. So Ron bolted to go get him. I'm on speakerphone telling Beefcake, come on, baby, it's okay, you know, stop. Finally, the guy gets close enough to start giving him belly rubs. And then it was all over. Beefcake laid down and waited until Ron got there. And now here we are with our Beefy safe at home. He's got some really sore paws, and you can tell his joints are a little sore. I mean, he's 9.5 years old. But other than that, he didn't have a scratch on him. He had some ticks, and he didn't even look like he lost any weight. So he's obviously been, you know, stealing some food from the neighbors' dogs' bowls, and we're just ecstatic to have him home. And last but not least, guys, I got to give you an update on Briggs. Now, initially when Briggs came to the house, we called rehabbers all around and nobody was accepting squirrels. They said they think that, you know, people have been finding these babies or even getting them out of the trees so they can show them on social media like they're saving them and get a bunch of views, which I thought was completely terrible. But at the time, I knew I didn't do that. He walked up on me and crawled up on my leg. But the thought did go through my mind, yeah, this baby's going to get a lot of views. Well, I was all about keeping him after that. I knew nobody was going to take care of him. Somebody had to. So I planned to keep him all winter long and let him go in the spring. And I introduced him to the world, all of you guys. And the day that video came out, Briggs started getting sick. And I didn't know what I was doing wrong. So I took a crash course in squirrels, and I have learned a lot. First off, Briggs got pneumonia, and he went downhill really fast. So fast that Briggs died. Now, they say things aren't dead until they're cold and dead, and Briggs was dead, D-E-D, 10 minutes, not breathing. He was cold and dead. I was home by myself. I'm just bawling, ugly crying, holding him in my hands. I'm thinking, oh my gosh, I failed so bad. I start rubbing him, giving him little chest compressions, and 10 minutes later, he came back to life. Now, he was back alive, but it wasn't good. He had 9 seizures in the span of about an hour. And then he died again. 10 minutes, no breathing. He was completely cold. Ron was back at this time, and he's crying, holding him, trying to keep him warm, hands him to me, and he says, I'm sorry, baby, he's dead. He had not breathed for 10 minutes. And I'm like, no. By this time, I had already prayed to God. I said, God, I am so sorry that I have failed. Please help me. Please bring this squirrel back to life. I promise you that if you bring this squirrel back to life, I will not make any more money off him. I will make sure that if he is in any of my videos, they will be demonetized. I begged the Lord to save this squirrel, and he did. So I did it again. I rubbed him, gave him chest compressions, kept him warm, and he came back. I found out what medicines to give him, and slowly he recovered. He was doing great, took him to Kentucky with us, came back, and when we did, after all the research that I've done, I found out that, you know, squirrels do a lot better being released when they're around other squirrels. So I went on a hunt again to find another rehabber. And luckily enough, I found one 10 minutes down the road who already had 5 baby squirrels the same age as him. This lady Brenda has a elder possum that she keeps. She had 2 possums in her bedroom. She's got dogs, cats, a little baby possum that crawls all over all the time. So my main concern was finding somebody that had baby squirrels the same size as Briggs to where he could learn how to be a squirrel, because it is much harder to release when they've never been around a squirrel in their life. So as hard as it was, and as much crying as we did letting him go, we knew it was the best thing for Briggs. And now I get videos of him playing with his buddies, being a squirrel. And I know this is going to disappoint a lot of you, but it's much better for him. So yeah, that's it. These are the days of our lives. And I am back at it now, ready to work on some stuff, make some more repair videos, and hopefully save y'all some time, money, and frustration in the future. I want to thank each and every single one of you again for being subscribers, watching my videos, sharing. You have no idea how awesome it is to be on this journey with you. Here's to another 500,000, guys.